Let's make this easy ghost for this Halloween season. All right. So I have this paper towel holder from Dollar Tree, but you can also use the little foam cones, but I want mine just to be a little bit taller. I'm going to also be using the Dollar Tree little bowls. You find those in the kids' toy section. They come in a pack of three. If I was going to be using the little foam piece, I would just glue it right on top, but I'm going to be using the paper towel holder. So I'm just going to cut a slit in there just deep enough just to push it on top and secure it. You can also add a little bit of glue just to make sure that it stays in place. But if you get it in there good and deep, you shouldn't have any issues. I have this white fabric that I'm going to be using. I'm going to cover up the ball just because it is yellow and the fabric that I'm using is not super thick. You can paint your ball. You can use a white ball. You can do it a bunch of different ways, but this is just real quick, real easy. I just tied it on, like I said, just to cover up the yellow that was there. And then I'm just going to take my fabric. I'm going to take it, lay it out, make sure I have enough to cover up everything there. So I'm just going to play around with it. Once I make sure I have enough to cover it up, I'm just going to cut it, tear it. This is just a regular cotton fabric. You can get this for really cheap at your local craft stores and places like that. So again, I'm just playing around with it. You just want to make it look ghost-like. So you just play around with it, get the folds right. I'm going to make mine lighted. So you can use this feature. You cannot use this feature. You can get string lights from Dollar Tree. These are from IKEA. They are all knotted up, but that's okay because I don't need them to be perfect. I'm just going to kind of wrap them around the paper towel holder and up top of the bowl there. You can also use your string lights to create a shape underneath your ghost if you wanted to, but I'm just using mine just for light feature. But once I got done doing that, you can take that down if you're worried about it flopping around, but it usually just sits on top of the paper towel holder there. And then I'm just going to add some eyeballs. So I just took some black fabric. You can use some black felt too if you want, but I'm just going to freestyle some little circles. You can draw those out in advance. I have these little glitter pumpkins from Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of five. They come with a little stick on them. I'm just going to pop that little stick off there. And then we're going to give the pumpkin a little, not the pumpkin, we're going to give the ghost a little pumpkin to hold. This is kind of like the ghost from Pottery Barn. You've seen that ghost. And it has a little pumpkin that it's holding. But once I got done with those pieces, I'm just going to hot glue the eyes on, and you just eyeballing that too. Just place them where you want. So I pop those on, and then I'm going to glue the pumpkin. So it looks like the ghost is holding the pumpkin. So again, just make sure you play around with the placement to make it look like you want. I also took this little hat from Dollar Tree. It's a little witch hat. They come in a pack of three. And I put that on top, and that's how it came out. Follow for more DIYs. Another fun Halloween decor DIY using Dollar Tree items. All right, so I have this pumpkin wreath from Dollar Tree. It is broke, but that is okay. We're going to still use it. And then I have this white cotton fabric that I'm going to use. First, I'm just going to start out by cutting it into strips. All right, so you can put this on in whichever way you want. We're going to make it like a mummy pumpkin. So you just want a lot of strips and you want it to look like mummy bandages. At first, I started out weaving it in and out like you would do with most of the weaving in and out, like with this pumpkin shape reform. But I changed it up at the end. I just wanted to make sure that I had like the layers and the texture. But you're going to start by gluing it to one side and you're going to glue it to the reform and to itself so that it can close in. And then finishing it off, gluing it to the other side. You can continue to go straight across and then you'll have to use less bandages if you do this. But if you start out just crisscrossing it like mummy bandages, you're going to use a lot of fabric. So it's best just to make a base. You could cover the whole thing with one solid piece of fabric and do it that way. But if you do it in the strips, if you wanted to, I didn't add lights to mine. You can add lights at the end. But you can also just go across like I did with this one. You just glue one end and then just go straight across to the other side, just doing it nice and tight, but not too tight that you change the shape of the reform. And like I said, you want it to look like mummy bandages. So you don't want everything to end out straight. So at some point, you're going to need to be crisscrossing this and weaving these in and out just to get that mummy bandage type shape. For the bottom and the top where that curve is, you can just take a piece and just go over that. So I went just the same like you did for the others, one end to one end, but then I'm just curving it over the bottom of it here and gluing that down, and I'm gluing around the whole piece so that it stays in place. For the other ones at the top, you don't have to glue around every piece because just the pulling of it helps it stay in place. But for these curved parts, you're going to want to do that. I also, you can see, glued together the reform at the top so that the pumpkin can get back its shape there. I did the same thing at the top that I did at the bottom. And then I just continued just crisscrossing these bandage like pieces until everything was nice and covered. Once you're done with that, like I said, if you wanted to, you can add string lights in here. You can glue it to the inside right there and then just weave it in and out. I'm just gluing down the little scraps that are there, and that is basically it for that part. Okay, so now I'm going to make some eyeballs for the mummy. I just took this like black satin fabric, and then I made some little white dots for the inside, and I'm just going to glue those down. At first I was going to go real big with those, but then I realized that was too big for the mummy. And then for the top of the little pumpkin stem, because this is a pumpkin mummy, I'm just going to take some black rope from the Dollar Tree. You can find this like in the hardware section at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to wrap that around. And then once I get to the top, I'm just going to glue that down, cut it off, tuck it inside, and glue that off. And that is it. It is really quick, really simple. And this is just a regular reform from Dollar Tree. So you can just hang this in the back there with a reef hook. And that is it. If you like, please subscribe for more fun and easy DIYs. So I'm back with another Halloween tier tray DIY. All right, so this time I opened up the piece and I put batteries in it so that it does work. So now that everything is good, I'm just gonna close it up. You can screw it closed. Just so you know, if you're gonna do this and you're gonna glue it to the bottom, it probably will only last for the season, the motion detection, because the batteries won't last forever. But I'm going to take and I'm just going to open mine up in a little couple pieces because I want to make sure it's strong, because I'm using the plates from the Dollar Tree. Before we used the baskets, they were lighter, but I just want to make sure that the piece, it does feel strong, but I just want to make sure that it's able to hold up the plate because I don't want any issues. So I just took and cut open some slits in there and then put some wooden dowels from the Dollar Tree. And then I just, once I shoved them in there good and they went to where they could go to, I just cut them off. And then I checked the piece again to make sure it was still working. And then I did this. Okay, so you want to use a strong glue because you want to make sure that this does stay in place, again, because this is like a ceramic type plate. You don't want any issues. So I'm using a combination of the E6000 and the hot glue. The E6000 is going to take a while to, dry. So the hot glue just helps it stay in place instantly. I used a ton of the hot glue, and okay, this is where I messed up. I did it upside down because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that it stayed in place. I wouldn't even went in and added extra glue, and then held it for a while and all that. And then when I finally flipped it over, I realized it was tilted. Um, but it's still cute because it's like one of those, like, tilted trays, but you're not going to be able to put anything on the top if yours is tilted. So make sure yours is straight if you want to use the top plate. Don't do what I did. But you can see it is nice and strong. It is holding together, and that was the purpose of it. So just to cover up, because like I said, I used an excessive amount of glue just to cover that up and just to add another detail to it. I'm just going to take some of these little twigs from the Halloween section at Dollar Tree. You can add some cute florals. You can do a lot of cute little things right here just to give it just a little extra touch. I didn't add anything around the bottom because I didn't want to mess with the motion sensor, because it's just a little piece on the bottom and I really didn't want anything in the way of that. So I just went around the whole top, like I said, just plucking the pieces off those branches and giving a little bit of glue to stick those down on like the bottom side of the plate. Not that you're really going to see the glue, but just in case. And then this is how it looks, and it gives it a little extra Halloween touch to it. And then you're just going to find the center of the plate there and you can glue that down. But like I said, if you don't want it to be permanent and you want to be able to change the batteries, then do not glue it to the bottom of the plate. But that is it. Super quick, super easy. Let's make these Halloween style pumpkins out of these fall pumpkins that we did before. So we have these, they come in a set of two, and then we have the singular one that comes like more of a rectangle shape. I'm going to take the ones that are attached apart. They're real easy to take apart. You just take something, pry it in there, and you'll pop them off. They are covered with a little paper. So if they have a pattern on it, it'll have a little paper. That paper will peel off. So if you're going to be doing any decorating or anything like that, you're going to need to use the back part because that is the best part. For the one that does say hello fall, I did use the front part because it didn't have the other paper on it, if that makes sense. But it was real easy to do. So you just take the sticker off the back if you're going to be using the back. And then I painted mine with this bright orange that I think I got from Dollar Tree. I think I got it from Dollar Tree. I painted that with that. I did a few coats. You can see if you don't do a few coats, you can still see the word in there. I also popped that grateful sign off of the other pumpkin there. And you can see they had the word grateful printed underneath there. So if you can get it off without tearing it, that wording is on there. But I wanted to save that little plaque for the other part of the DIY. I gave this a few coats too with that bright orange paint. Again, one coat won't give it like a full coverage, but if you want the brown to like peek through and stuff, one coat is what you want to do, or maybe just use a stronger paint. Um, I was gonna freestyle this or find some transfers from Dollar Tree, but I just decided to use my Cricut for this next part. So Cricut has a ton of great Halloween prints and cuts that you can use. So you can just search in the main page if you want to find something, or you can search in the images once you have opened up your canvas there, and you just make sure you'll pick a cut file based on what you want to do. Once you pick all of the good things that you want, you can search Halloween. I searched cats. I searched witches. You can search whatever you want, and then once you have everything, you can just pop it and resize it to the size you need. So you just measure your pumpkins. I took and painted that grateful sign. I painted the front of it with the jet black paint, and then once everything dried, I took my Cricut pieces that I did cut and I put those on there. So you just weed those out and put those on some transfer paper and just pop them on. If you have big pieces, you can just pop them on like stickers. You don't even need the transfer paper. But I put it on the little sign. I put the little witch there. So it's like supposed to hint, welcome witches, if that makes sense. And then I have this little piece that was left from the other sign. So these like little straw bowls, but you can also make these with the Dollar Tree hula skirts too. So I made my third one with the hula skirt piece, but I had two extras that I had popped off of the other pumpkins. So I just glued those on and then made a third one. And this is how they came out. I did also add a little Jenga block in the back just to make sure those smaller ones stood up on their own.